At San Diego State, we have a number of these active learning classrooms around campus. Active learning is learning by doing. Physical Sciences 130 is one of our larger lecture halls, and we've been thinking about making improvements to that space for some time now.
It needed to be refreshed to an active learning classroom. When COVID hit, we had to put everything on pause. 2 years worth of work have gone to this.
But we had to take action, and it was really a matter of life and death. That we were able to overcome a variety of obstacles that almost at the 11th hour ended up calling off the entire project. We are super excited to enter into Physical Sciences 130.
Wow.
Check it out.
Learning environments here at SDSU, we are a team of staff and student assistants, and we manage all of the centrally scheduled general assignment classrooms on campus. Our goal is we're here to help faculty use technology for instruction. We have roughly 178 classrooms that we take care of. Typically every summer we'll do about a dozen or so refreshes or upgrades.
During the summer is when we get majority of our projects. This is where we upgrade a lot of our smart classrooms. For a typical room upgrade, we first check out the room for what needs to be upgraded. And then from there, we have our podium. We start building, adding the rails, adding all the equipment. After that, then we pull out the old equipment and pull the cables out and pull new ones in. Then we drop in the podium. So we added a new projector to our latest projector model. After that, then we'd go in the ceiling and add our dot cam and add in new speakers. From there, we do quality tests and have it ready for the next semester. For some of the older rooms, it is a challenge. It's a big team effort.
You know, we're currently a few years into our 10-year plan where our goal is to refresh a certain number of rooms every year to be able to have the most up-to-date technology in our learning environments.
In a large lecture hall, you know, it's kind of this passive, faceless experience. You file in, you sit down, and you're lectured to, right? That's not active learning. You're not processing that information. You're not talking it over with other students. You're not really given an opportunity to use that information. Whereas active learning is learning by doing. An active learning classroom, you're at a table, it's often round. You're surrounded by, now it's, maybe it's 6 people, maybe it's 8. And the idea is that they're building some connections and they're establishing a rapport with one another that may not have been possible in a more conventional lecture hall. And those students are like, hey, you want to go get a cup of coffee after this? I didn't really understand, you know, this one concept. Maybe we could talk it over. And then that then persists, and you've built these relationships that can help students be more successful.
And in these active learning classrooms, it's a great opportunity because you have, in some cases, multiple displays. You know, there's no restrictions on sight lines. You know, the instructor gets to walk around the classroom and you feel more connected, more involved in the subject.
Talk about some of the things they're doing. Our investment in active learning classrooms began more than 20 years ago with a vision to make these spaces much more interactive and engaging for students. In the case of a large lecture hall, the instructor walks in, they see there's a podium at the front of the class, a giant screen, a microphone, and they know what to do. They're going to go in, they're going to lecture. Well, in an active learning classroom, there's pods. There's, you know, round tables, and the chairs all move, the tables all move. There's displays all around the room so that each table has their own display. That makes the faculty member thinking about, oh, maybe I don't just lecture. Maybe I think about ways to get the students interacting with one another and with the content more. So we wanted to build an environment that was suitable for active learning and in fact geared towards active learning. So PS 130 is one of our larger lecture halls, and we've been thinking about making improvements to that space for some time now, thinking about ways that we can add new emerging technologies to make that experience better for our students. Right now, the biggest active learning classroom we have supports about 75 students. PS 130 gets us in the range of 100 students, so it's a big leap for us in terms of greater capacity.
It was just right at the moment where it needed to be refreshed. For a good solid year, we had these focus groups, and we took this very democratic approach of, getting and gathering everyone's feedback.
We did actually meet with faculty, staff, and students actually to get the student perspective of learning in that kind of a space. And we showed them some sample layouts, some mock-ups of what a new classroom could look like.
Great outcomes came out of it. Some faculty members who've taught in PS 130 that the acoustics in the rooms were the #1 concern.
It's a historical classroom. It's been in use for 100+ years or so. It's been a theater, it's been a gymnasium. Knowing we were going to go in and refresh, we knew we couldn't touch the historical ceiling beams or the chandeliers that are still prominently displayed. A fun fact, PS 130 was actually featured in a popular TV series back in the 2000s called Veronica Mars.
Hands up. Only two.
Where you see the actor who's a professor walking in front of the room, and it showcased PS 130 from different angles.
Project due at the end of the term.
So we were a go. We got the green light. And then subsequently we had a new president come in and a new provost followed that. And a result of that was the whole project was almost scrubbed.
So when COVID hit, we were told that we had to put everything on pause. 2 years worth of work have gone to this, and then to get the carpet pulled under your feet, it was just a very an unfortunate event.
We were in early March of 2020, a year that will live in infamy, right? It was clear that we were going to have to make some really dramatic changes in the middle of the semester. And nobody wanted to believe it. The faculty didn't want to believe it. Students didn't want to believe it. The administration didn't want to believe it. But we had to take action, and it was really a matter of life and death.
Remember that at San Diego State University, we pivoted from being in person to online in only a week. We closed for a week so we could make this transition.
We were definitely all hands on deck. It was chaos. The team, everyone was working together to try to come up with a game plan. I was trying not to show, emotions and fear of the unexpected. I honestly, and I still don't know, what's going to happen next week.
I remember being worried about funding, especially after a few months into the pandemic. We were hearing about, obviously the school was losing money in terms of, tuition and enrollment and whatnot, and we knew that that would then trickle down. So
I was an ocean lifeguard for a long time here in San Diego. The thing that drowns people in the ocean is not the current, it's not the sharks, it's not the cold water, it's panic. If you can take a step back and assess the situation, take a couple deep breaths, it can make all the difference in the world.
All of a sudden, we hear back and we got the green light to move forward with PS 130. At that point, everybody was very happy that we were going to continue to make this a reality.
So that was a big challenge, and grateful to see the fruit of our labor now, and convincing the new leaders and administrators that the juice was worth the squeeze was no easy task. So I think we have a lot to be proud of. We are super excited to enter into Physical Sciences 130. This is our largest active learning classroom on campus, and just dying to see how it turned out. So let's go. After you, Rudy.
Thank you. Wow.
Check it out. Oh, this is awesome. So the purpose of the room is really not about traditional teaching where the instructor comes in and lectures for 45 minutes or an hour and a half. It's a space where, like we were saying, you can move around, you can write on the table surface, you can communicate and have everything that you're saying be recorded, or streamed live online to students who are participating at a distance remotely. It's so disappointing knowing that we've got this Taj Mahal of classrooms and faculty literally haven't stepped foot in the room. So that's really hard to deal with, but we understand, given the importance of health and people's well-being, that we not bring them to campus right now. Fall of 2021, we were returning to in-person instruction. We knew all along that we would be coming back. I never had any doubt. I may be pathologically optimistic, but I knew we were coming back. And we knew we had to be ready for the students and for the instructors. And we wanted to make sure that that room was everything it was being billed as.
So tell us what is the theory of cognitive dissonance and provide a couple of examples.
You value your dog and you value taking care of it, and so when you didn't take care of it.
What I did was like a review for the final exam. They were assigned to different concepts based on tables, so they had the possibility to interact with each other and bounce off ideas, and then to present the concept with example that other students might relate to.
If all the people around you are wearing a mask, there is a higher likelihood.
I think being in a nice classroom, being a classroom that is provided with technology and technology that the professor can capitalize on is all in favor of the learning experience.
Referring to the factor.
I'm super enthusiastic and went beyond my expectation, the experience in the classroom.
I know this, I like this.
I think of active learning being something that is important to the School of Journalism and Media Studies. The type of content that I talk about is sometimes very sensitive. I do a lot of content that has to do with sexuality, that has to do with culture and identity and race. And sometimes students don't feel prepared to talk about that out loud to the bigger group. I think when students are in smaller groups, they have the ability to think through and to bounce ideas off of one another and then say, you know what, I never thought of that. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that either.
Just like I'm trying to be.
What I like most about this room is that I can teach my team-based pedagogy. They sit at the tables together, they can use the monitors and power outlets.
I did.
The physical space really helps them kind of talk about it and think through those ideas first before they share it to a larger group of students. It's not just the traditional sit in rows and look at somebody's head and listen to a lecture. They're actually engaging with one another. They're in a new room. They're able to listen and talk to one another about the things that they're thinking in real time. I think right now the way that we look at traditional classrooms is that students shouldn't have any distractions. Put your phones away, put your laptops and tablets away, don't look at your watch. And for me, I feel like that's all part of the learning process. And so I want them to engage with everything around them. It's a sensory experience, is what I think active learning should be.
PS 130 is a game changer. We had to really put everything we had into it, and we did. I'm so proud of the team for their hard work and coming together to make that happen. These types of environments can help people learn by reimagining the curriculum. This journey really started back in the 2000-2001 timeframe. So we've seen over this time that I've been here at San Diego State what was a little seedling of an idea grow into a forest of these classrooms.